Alright guys, in today's video I'll be ranking the top 30 first basemen. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into it. Starting off the list, I projected first baseman for the Miami Marlins, Jonah Bride. Jonah Bride is just not the greatest player, and the Marlins really just have no good players. In 232 plate appearances, Bride hit for 11 home runs, 39 RBIs, and 64 hits, good enough for a batting average of .276 and an OPS of .818 and a WAR of 0.8. Bride can play all around the infield as well. He does have a low barrel rate and has not played in too many games. I have him at number 30 on my list. At number 29, I have Andrew Vaughn of the Chicago White Sox. Vaughn has been the starting first baseman for the White Sox ever since Jose Abreu left for Houston. He also played some outfield for them before that, but he really has just been horrible. In 570 plate appearances, Vaughn hit for 19 home runs, 70 RBIs, and 140 hits, good enough for a batting average of .246 and an OPS of .699, and a WAR of 0.2. He is not the best defensive-wise, and the bat has just not been there in the last few years. I have Andrew Vaughn at 29. For the 28th best first baseman in baseball, I am going with the Athletics first baseman, Tyler Soderstrom. Soderstrom is a solid little player, still young, and has a bright future. In 404 plate appearances, Soderstrom hit for 9 home runs, 26 RBIs, and 44 hits, good enough for a batting average of .233 and an OPS of .743 and a WAR of 0.5. Soderstrom has not been getting too much playing time, but will this season. He hits the ball hard and walks at an acceptable amount. Hopefully the new field in Sacramento can help him hit better. I have Tyler Soderstrom at number 28. At number 27, I have Ezekiel Duran of the Texas Rangers. Duran plays all around the infield, but now he has the nod at first base as Nathaniel Lowe is not on the team anymore. Duran is an average player, okay with the bat, okay with the glove. Duran, in 268 plate appearances, hit for only 3 home runs, 20 RBIs, and 66 hits, good enough for a batting average of .246 and an OPS of .609, and a WAR of only 0.1. The reason I have him this high is because he can play all around the infield, is experienced, and is somewhat consistent. I have Duran at number 27. Coming off a really poor 2024 campaign, I have Jeimer Candelario, projected first baseman of the Cincinnati Reds. I really thought Candelario was going to do good in Cincinnati, but he ended up doing really under par. In 427 plate appearances, Candelario hit for 20 home runs, 56 RBIs, and 196 hits for a batting average of .225 and an OPS for .707. And a WAR of negative 0.7. If your WAR is in the negatives, that is just not a good look. He is not as good with the glove as he used to be. The bat is not like it was in Detroit and Washington. Candelario slots in as the 26th best first baseman in baseball. Getting the top 25 started at number 25, I have Colorado Rockies first baseman Michael Toglia. Toglia had a pretty solid year at the plate. In his second season, in 399 plate appearances, Toglia hit for 25 home runs, 55 RBIs, and 87 hits for a batting average of .218 and an OPS for .767, and a WAR of 2.2. I think it is just a lack of consistency for Toglia, as he is not that consistent in his hitting, especially when you have an advantage at Coors Field. He is okay at defense as he came up as a catcher. He is a promising young player. I have Toglia at 25. Going to the Twin Cities to talk about my favorite team's first baseman, Jose Miranda of the Minnesota Twins. Miranda is mainly a third baseman, but he does play around the infield and now lands at first base after Santana left for the Guardians and Royce Lewis is at third base. In 401 plate appearances, Miranda hit for 9 home runs, 49 RBIs, and 114 hits, good enough for a batting average of .284 and an OPS for .763 and a WAR of 1.7. Miranda did have that consecutive hit record this season where he recorded a hit in 12 consecutive at-bats. I was actually at the game where he broke that record, so that was pretty cool. But he still is young, has a decent amount of stuff to work on. I have Miranda at number 24. Staying in the AL Central, at number 23, I have Detroit Tigers first baseman Spencer Torkelson. Torkelson had an abysmal first half of the season. He even got sent down to Triple-A early in the year because he was that bad. But Torkelson did finish the second half off really solid. In 342 plate appearances, he hit for 10 home runs, 37 RBIs, and 75 hits, good enough for a batting average of .219 and an OPS for .669. And a WAR of 0.3. I will cut Torkelson some slack as Comerica Park is not a hitter-friendly ballpark at all, but I do expect that Spencer Torkelson will turn it around next year and proved that he deserved to be that number 1 overall pick back in 2020. Coming in at number 22, I have Spencer Horwitz, now the starting first baseman for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Definitely an upgrade for Pittsburgh, as Rowdy Tellez just sucks, and Spencer Horwitz had a solid 2024 season last year in Toronto. In 328 plate appearances, Horwitz hit for 24 home runs, 40 RBIs, and 87 hits, good enough for a batting average of .265, an OPS for .790, and a WAR of 1.2. It was kind of a weird offseason for Horwitz as he got traded to Cleveland, and then hours later he got traded to Pittsburgh. I think this is a good move for the Pirates, as I believe Horwitz has potential to be great. Yeah, I have Spencer Horwitz at number 22. Just outside the top 20, I have young Angels first baseman Nolan Schanuel. Schanuel is a very solid hitter and has very solid contact and hits for some power, but he just isn't that consistent. In 519 plate appearances, the 22-year-old hit for 13 home runs, 54 RBIs, and 130 hits, good enough for a batting average of .250, an OPS for .706, and a WAR of 1.3 while stealing 10 bases. Schanuel was the leadoff hitter for the Angels for a decent amount of the year, and that is rare for a first baseman to do. Hopefully Schanuel can keep it up because he does have the potential to become a great first baseman in this league. Given the top 20 started at number 20, I have San Francisco Giants first baseman Lomont Wade Jr. Wade is a decent little hitter that hits for solid power and has a decent glove at first base. In 331 plate appearances, Wade hit for 8 home runs, 34 RBIs, and 86 hits for a batting average of .260, an OPS for .761, and a WAR of 2.1. Coming into his 5th year in the Bay after starting his career in Minnesota, I need to see Wade progress and hit more consistent at the plate, or he may get traded to a different team. Coming off possibly the worst season of his career, I have Rhys Hoskins at the Milwaukee Brewers. Hoskins, after signing with the Brewers after being with the Phillies for many years, did not look very great. In 449 plate appearances, Hoskins hit for 26 home runs, 82 RBIs, and 96 hits, good enough for a batting average of .214 and an OPS of .722 and a negative .0.2 WAR. Hoskins did come off a year of not playing in 2023 with his torn ACL with the Phillies, and did somewhat have a decent season in 2024 with the Brewers. I have him at 19. At number 18, I have Baltimore Orioles first baseman Ryan Mountcastle. Mountcastle had a solid 2024 season at the plate, and especially hitting at Camden Yards with the left field wall being ridiculously far robbed him of some home runs. In 473 plate appearances, Mountcastle hit for 13 home runs, 63 RBIs, and 128 hits, good enough for a batting average of .271, an OPS for .733, and a 2.6 WAR. I have high hopes that Mountcastle will break out next season, as the Great Wall of Baltimore will be shortening, allowing him to hit more home runs. Coming in at number 17, I had Royals first baseman Vinny Pasquantino. Pasquantino finally got to play a full year for the Royals after missing most of last year with an injury, and hit solid with 18 home runs, 97 RBIs, and 130 hits. In 496 plate appearances, he hit good enough for a batting average of .262, an OPS for .760, and a WAR of 1.1. Defensively, Pasquantino is solid. I feel like he definitely was a reason on why the Royals got as far as they did. I have Vinny Pasquantino at number 17. Just outside the top 15, I have Paul Goldschmidt, now of the New York Yankees. Paul Goldschmidt is just getting really old and does not look anywhere close to his MVP season in 2022 for the Cardinals. In 599 plate appearances, Goldie hit for 22 home runs, 65 RBIs, and 147 hits, good enough for a batting average of .245, an OPS for .716, and a WAR of 1.3 while stealing 11 bases. I do think this was a good move by the Yankees, though, as Anthony Rizzo is terrible now. I also feel like the short porch at Yankee Stadium may benefit Goldschmidt. I have him at number 16. Given the top 15 starter, I have Luis Arraez of the San Diego Padres. Trust me, I do love Luis Arraez. He's a former Twin, but he just cannot hit for much power. He didn't hit any home runs for the Marlins before getting traded to the Padres, where he only hit 4 home runs, 46 RBIs, and 200 hits in 637 plate appearances, for about an average of .314, an OPS for .739, and a 1.0 WAR, while stealing 9 bases. He is not anything special at first base either, as that is not his primary position. He is probably the best contact hitter in all of baseball and has fantastic plate discipline. He just needs to hit for more power. Luis, I love you, but you're at number 15. At number 14, I have star young Chicago Cubs first baseman Michael Busch. Busch had an amazing rookie season for the Cubs, batting for 21 home runs, 65 RBIs, and 123 hits in 496 plate appearances, good enough for a batting average of 248, an OPS for 775, and a 2.8 WAR. He is one of the star young first basemen in baseball right now, and I feel like he could have a great future, and he's going to be with the Cubs for a while. Cubs fans should be really happy about Michael Busch. I have him at number 14. At number 13, I have newly acquired Cleveland Guardian Carlos Santana. I mean, this dude will not stop mashing at the plate at the age of 39. For the Twins in 2024, Santana hit for 23 home runs, 71 RBIs, and 124 hits in 521 plate appearances. Good enough for a batting average of 288 and an OPS of 749, and a WAR of 2.5. I really wish Minnesota signed him for another year, as he is so consistently good. He won a Gold Glove in 2024, as he was great with his defense. Cleveland obviously lost a great player in Josh Naylor, but you guys are welcoming back a future Hall of Famer in Carlos Santana. Sneaky take here at number 12, I have Luke Raley, first baseman of the Seattle Mariners. Luke Raley is so underrated, and he has been playing so well since getting traded from Tampa Bay last year. In 404 plate appearances, Raley hit for 22 home runs, 58 RBIs, and 98 hits. Good enough for a batting average of 243 and an OPS for 790, and a WAR of 3.2, while stealing 11 bases. The Mariners have a great guy with Luke Raley. I expect him to be even better in 2025. I have him at number 12. Just outside the top 10, I have newly acquired Washington National Nathaniel Lowe. Lowe has been very solid at the plate over his last couple seasons in Texas, winning a Gold Glove in 2023 where he won the World Series, as well as winning a Silver Slugger Award in 2022. Lowe in 486 plate appearances, hit for 16 home runs, 69 RBIs, and 129 hits for a batting average of 265, an OPS for 762, and a 2.7 WAR. The Nationals finally have traded for a fantastic first baseman in Nathaniel Lowe. I have him just outside the top 10 at number 11. Given the top 10 started, I have newly acquired Arizona Diamondback Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor was elite at the plate last season for the Cleveland Guardians, hitting for 31 home runs, 108 RBIs, and 137 hits in 563 plate appearances, good enough for a batting average of 243, an OPS for 776, and a WAR of 1.5. I feel like Naylor will definitely impact the Diamondbacks this upcoming season. I have Josh Naylor at number 10. At number 9, I have former Arizona Diamondback and new Houston Astros first baseman Christian Walker. This was a huge upgrade for the Astros, as John Singleton is just not that good at all. Walker did battle some injuries last season in Arizona, but he did have a solid season. In 479 plate appearances, Walker hit for 26 home runs, 84 RBIs, and 120 hits for a batting average of 251 and an OPS of 803 and a WAR of 2.6. He has won multiple Gold Gloves and has solid plate discipline as well. I do feel like he will play solid for the Astros. I have him as the 9th best first baseman in the league. Coming in at number 8, now playing first base after catching his whole career, Willson Contreras of the St. Louis Cardinals. Willson Contreras is just a great all-around ball player and proved it last year in his second year with the Cardinals. Contreras did break his hand last year and missed part of the season, but still finished solid with 15 home runs, 36 RBIs, and 79 hits, and 301 plate appearances, good enough for a batting average of 262, an OPS for 848, and a 3.0 WAR. I do think Contreras will be solid at first base. Hopefully he stays healthy for a whole season. I have Willson Contreras at number 8. Coming in at number 7, I have young Red Sox first baseman Tristan Casas. Casas did battle some injuries for the Red Sox, missing most of the 2024 season, but still finished off fantastic, as in 212 plate appearances, Casas hit for 13 home runs, 32 RBIs, and 51 hits for a batting average of 241, an OPS for 800, and a 0.6 WAR. There is rumors about Casas possibly getting traded, but I don't think that will happen. It would be really dumb of the Red Sox to do, as you have one of the best young first basemen in baseball in Casas. I have him at number 7. Just outside the top 5, I have Tampa Bay Rays first baseman Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz is like one of the only players the Rays have, and he's consistently doing well at the plate for them. Coming off more of a down year, but still solid season, Yandy hit for 14 home runs, 65 RBIs, and 158 hits for a batting average of 281, an OPS for 755, and a WAR of 1.6. I could see Diaz going to a new team possibly, as I just know a lot of great teams out there could use him. I have Yandy Diaz just outside the top 5 at number 6. Getting the top 5 started, I have Matt Olson of the Atlanta Braves. Matt Olson is just a lead at the plate and has been like that his whole career. In 600 plate appearances, Olson hit for 29 home runs, 98 RBIs, and 148 hits for a batting average of 247, an OPS for 790, and a WAR of 3.8. That's what Matt Olson is just great all around the baseball field, and he makes the All-Star game like every single year. I expect Matt Olson to be his normal self and be elite. I have him at number 5. At number 4, I have current free agent Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso may be the best home run hitting first baseman in baseball as he hits for 30-plus yearly. I mean, the guy has won 2 home run derbies and makes the All-Star game almost every single year. In 608 plate appearances, Alonso hit for 34 home runs, 88 RBIs, and 146 hits, good enough for a batting average of 240, an OPS for 788, and a 2.6 WAR. I do think the Mets will re-sign Pete Alonso, as that just seems where he belongs. I abhor Pete at number 4. For the third best first baseman, I am going with Freddie Freeman of the LA Dodgers. How can you not love Freddie Freeman? I mean, he is just a great guy, and he is an elite baseball player. In 542 plate appearances, Freddie hit for 22 home runs, 89 RBIs, and 153 hits for a batting average of 282, an OPS for 854, and a 4.7 WAR. He is solid defensive-wise and does not strike out often. Freddie Freeman will be in the Hall of Fame as he continues to be elite. I have Freddie Freeman as the third best first baseman in baseball. Because slightly ahead of Freeman, I have Bryce Harper of the Philadelphia Phillies. Little biased because Bryce Harper is easily my favorite player in the MLB besides Twins players. I mean, Harper is just good every single season, hitting for many home runs and many RBIs. In 2024, Harper hit for 30 home runs, 87 RBIs, and 157 hits in 550 plate appearances, good enough for a batting average of 285, an OPS of 898, and a 4.8 WAR. He is good at first base, even though that is not his main position, as he was right fielder for all of his career as he just started playing first base for the Phillies in 2023. I love Bryce Harper. I have him at number 2. Because in my opinion, the best first baseman in the MLB right now is MLB The Show 24 cover athlete, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. of the Toronto Blue Jays. Vladdy was just elite this season, hitting for 30 home runs, 103 RBIs, and 199 hits, for a batting average of 323, on OPS for 940, and a 6.2 WAR. He was without a doubt the best first baseman in baseball this season. He has such a bright future as he is only 25 years old, and is proving that he will continue the legacy of his father. Vladdy, you are the best first baseman in the MLB. Well, that was ranking every first baseman for every MLB team. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys in the next one. Peace.